Hi everyone, and welcome to Grumpy Old Men. Perhaps not quite grumpy old men,
No.
a little bit frazzled grumpy old men.
Sleepy old men.
You're sleepy.
Oh man, this heat. It's about 2 p.m. It's hot as hell, and I am dragging ass.
I have to say, by the time it gets to sort of 10:30, 11, I'm just thinking, where's the nearest aircon?
Yeah.
As it is, we are in, we've got some aircon, we're in one of my beach houses. This is a shameless promotion, by the way.
No, it's fine. Go ahead.
This is called Bonneville, and it's got aircon, and the guests checked out this morning. So the person cleaning is sort of running around pulling sheets off beds and finding bottles of Bollinger in the fridge.
Yeah. You need to get more guests like that.
Yeah, sure. Now today is it's for me. It's a lead up to a day in Australia which is quite significant. It's called Anzac Day, and the Anzac Day is, I don't know, it's the 25th. So what's the 25th? It's the 25th of April. I think it's Wednesday. But so this is the program before.
Okay.
What do you know about Anzac Day?
Oh, the Australia and New Zealand Expeditionary Company, AC. Anyway, a Gallipoli, First World War, and Australia's sort of introduction into the world stage as
New Zealand.
And New Zealand, their introduction onto the world stage, and it was a horrific campaign. And
Well, that's pretty good.
Yeah, well, there's a marvelous book, if I may, called Birds Without Wings. It's the Gallipoli campaign from the Turkish side, told from the Turkish side.
Interesting.
And it's an amazing, fascinating read. The man's name escapes me at the moment, the author's name, I'm sorry. But that's about it. And I saw the movie Gallipoli with
Mel Gibson.
And
Mark Lee.
That's it, I'm afraid. That's what I know.
Well, it was a pretty good depiction, good film for its time. But for those people that don't know much about Gallipoli, I mean, we're not going to go on about the history, but it was a horrific campaign, as noted well by Steve. And it's sort of odd in a way that we commemorate in Australia such a huge military loss.
Yeah.
Because a lot of countries, they celebrate their military wins.
Yeah.
What would be a similar, like I would say Anzac Day is the most important day for Australians and New Zealanders each year. What is the most important day, this might be controversial, most important day in the US each year?
Super Bowl Sunday. Yeah, though it's funny. We try to stay away from politics on this show. Yes, but I will mention very recently in the news, a celebrity went to Gettysburg apparently he says he went to the battlefield of Gettysburg, and apparently he was unclear who won and who lost that battle. But the Gettysburg Address, I was made to memorize the Gettysburg Address. Cup and cup.
The water has arrived.
It's not chilled. I was made to memorize.
Where's the champagne glasses?
The Gettysburg Address as a child, and even at that time, I thought something like, I forget the number, but 70,000 or something Americans died in this battle, killed by other Americans
During the Civil War.
Yeah,
right.
And I thought, this is very strange to be. We're commemorating this, and Lincoln's words commemorate the battlefield, and it was a terrible thing for both sides. So I don't know if it would be that. I'm going to stick with Super Bowl Sunday.
What about July the 4th? The Independence Day?
Yes, well, I didn't want to offend our British viewers, but yeah, the July 4th is important, not as important as Super Bowl Sunday. But probably...
Does the Super Bowl Sunday commemorate an event, or it's just the sports event?
Yeah, it's the biggest game of the year. It's the championship of the year.
What about Thanksgiving?
It's like the Oscars or something.
Or the Oscars.
I don't know, because Thanksgiving is one of those holidays like Passover that happens in the home. You don't go out to church. There's no parades. Well, I guess the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade, in New York City.
Sure.
But otherwise, that's a very personal, family-centered holiday. So it's not big and splashy.
Christmas?
The 4th of July. Well, if you are a Christian, yes. Christmas is a big deal. If you're Jewish, Passover is the biggest day of the year.
New Year's Day?
New Year's Day in New York City certainly is big. I never went to the, they get 1 million people in Times Square.
Oh, the countdown thing.
And that, to me, that's Steve's version of hell. To be stuck in a crowd of 1 million strangers, elbow to elbow, that's all my triggers rolled up into one event. Yeah, I could not do that.
All right, so interesting to hear what you might think wherever you are in the world. I mean, we all have our sort of national days, but there are some days, like for Australians and New Zealanders, Anzac Day, which is not sort of Christmas or New Year or anything, but it is, I'm sure, most Australians would say the most significant day that they would sort of recall each year. Around the world, there'll be Anzac Day services. Even until last year, we had Anzac Day services in Phuket. Very well attended by hundreds of people, and at dawn down at used to be at like the Geelong Yacht Club or whatever it's called. Very pleasant, but I don't think we did one the last couple of years for whatever reason.
Is there a holiday that commemorates Captain Cook arriving or something like that?
That is controversial. We call that Australia Day.
Oh,
but it's not commemorating Captain Cook's arrival. It's much more complicated than that. And there's a few people who are just triggered now, and they're jumping onto it. They're scrambling for the keyboard.
Oh no, I'm sorry. I take it back.
There are some of us that don't. Anyway, I won't get into that. But no, it doesn't commemorate
General Custer Day or something. The
Captain Cook didn't arrive at Sydney Cove in Botany Bay on January the 26th. Now,
boarding school education.
Apropos of absolutely nothing, but it's sort of because there's a slight broad Australian theme. We're going to have Tim Tams. Have you had Tim Tams before?
Never.
Thank you to Jack and Diane, who gave me a lifetime supply of Tim Tams. I will never. I've had to throw out salmon and steaks and all sorts of good food to make way for Jack and Diane's donation of 18 varieties of Tim Tams. These are the standard Tim Tams with double coat, which I'm assuming is we'll be talking during the rest of the show. Right?
Yeah,
this.
Thus the water. He only brought us 2 bottles. It may not be enough. We're going to do a lot of eating today.
Well, the other one is a little bit of a acquired taste, and I present. Item 1, a jar of Vegemite. Item number 2 doesn't have its, because I've already opened it and it falls off, Promite. And item number 3 is Sanitarium's My Jar is 100% recycled plastic. There you go. Marmite. These are the mites.
The mites.
And
mighty mites.
People say that they're made out of recycled oil and nuclear waste fused with a bit of salt. Mostly American people.
I grew up on that.
Australians and New Zealanders to a much lesser extent, but Australians and some British people with the Marmite tend to sort of like this in small amounts.
Isn't there, what's the song by Men at Work? He made me a Vegemite sandwich. Yeah.
Yes.
That
was the song that became the war anthem for the yacht Australia 2 in the 1983 America's Cup. I was there, where Australia 2, with its famous winged keel, wrested the America's Cup from the Americans after 137 years of continuous wins by a rule-cheating New York Yacht Club.
Ooh. Well, but it happened on Super Bowl Sunday, so we're not aware of it. No American knows this went on.
So I should have got toast, but I was...
And butter.
I'm too tired. So we're going to try it on veggie crackers, which I thought were fairly sort of neutral.
Okay, sure, I'm up for it. I haven't eaten lunch. Let's eat.
Some of these are yeast extracts, some are vegetable extracts. This one is proudly made in Australia. Oh, Vegemite, made in Australia. I would have thought, it's made in China or something. This one doesn't tell us where it's made, but anyway, I thought we'll just have a little do you want to do it now?
Up to you, dude. It's your holiday. It's your food. It's your
Have you tried these? What?
Me, never.
No. It's usually a fun thing to watch anybody but Australians' faces go. I did it with some Thais a couple of years ago, and they were, what the hell are you in? Mind you, there's a lot of other Thai food that is much more sort of acrid and strong tasting than even this.
I ate a couple, I think, fried grasshoppers on my first trip to Thailand in a bar, because I wanted the young women working in this bar to like me. And I was brand new. I didn't understand. If you want them to like you, buy them lunch. Don't eat grasshoppers to show that you're tough and you're. Yeah, it was a very misguided effort.
Keep on. It was meshing with your chest hair.
No, that'll happen.
So take a biscuit or two. It's up to you.
Well, I can't.
There's no trick to this.
All right, I got
there you
two.
Go. And you've got 2 plates there, so you have that one.
All right.
You got your own knife. Don't get any ideas, all right? You Jews with a knife at a newborn baby are very, very dangerous.
But if you rub it, it turns into a valise. Old joke. I may tell that on my channel.
What did you do for your weekly video? What was the theme this week? Harems or?
You don't watch my video.
No, I didn't watch. I do, but I haven't watched this week
I'm leaving.
Yet.
I'm leaving.
Oh,
I'm leaving. You save it to savor
it was so simple.
What was it? Oh, I walked through the cattle pasture. Back here, I walked through the cattle pasture and told a story. That was it.
What was the story about?
It was about a guy in Singapore.
Trying to promote your channel here, so just
thank you.
Help
it's
me
Steve
out.
Ross with an E. I told a story about a guy in Singapore who launched a magazine, and he lost everything his family had within 6 issues of a fishing magazine. And that was it. That's all it took to destroy generational wealth. A single bad decision and 6 mediocre fishing magazines, and that was it. They were penniless, the whole family.
So it started. He started a fishing magazine, or
he took. I'll save you going to look at my channel.
No, I want to go to your channel.
It was a guy I knew. He hired me to write a column for this magazine when he launched it. So I went down for 6 trips. He flew me down 6 times to Singapore, and I was able to watch the disillusion of this man's fortune in episodes every month. He would fly me down once a month, and the first time I went down, the guy's rolling in coin. He puts me in a great hotel. He takes me out for meals. He gets me a mani-pedi. This is apparently a male bonding ritual in Singapore. You sit this close in chairs, and young women do your toenails and your fingernails for you, and you talk business. And we went from that to 6 months later, I'm sleeping in his daughter's bedroom surrounded by Hello Kitty posters.
Is the daughter there?
No, she's 7 years old. But he doesn't have the money to put me in a hotel.
Right.
And he never paid me for the plane tickets. He never paid me for my last 2 columns. I watched this guy in 6 episodes like a TV show, just the whole thing fall apart. And it turned out it was his father's money. His father had worked 50 years to buy a building in Singapore, a 3-story shop house. And the kid, the eldest son, talked his dad into selling that building to KFC and sinking the entire amount of money into a fishing magazine. And he lost it all.
It's a very expensive fishing magazine, I'm thinking.
Oh, well, it's very expensive to get things printed and bound, pay your writers, go on these trips, pay for airplane tickets to fly in the writers, take them out for lavish meals, get them mani-pedis. I mean, the guy was just spending money like he was Hugh Hefner, and his magazine was already successful.
He had 6 great months, though.
Well, the first 2 or 3, yeah, but by the 4th, there was a little desperation creeping in, and by the 5th and by the 6th, he was frantic, and I was sleeping in his daughter's bedroom.
So what happened? He couldn't sell the magazine, or there wasn't advertisers?
Well, all of that. It turns out the biggest issue, it takes a year to get a magazine approved by the censors in the Singapore government to be sold publicly in newsstands and hotel lobbies and bookstores and things like that. So he couldn't distribute it. He went around the docks trying to get guys who had fishing boats to take the magazine so he could tell his advertisers, oh, my book is on every fishing boat in Singapore. But even that, he was giving away advertising in the first issues, and he just couldn't get anybody to pay because they weren't seeing the magazine in the newsstands or in the hotels or anywhere.
We're just doing a little move.
Oh, I thought you were gonna. No, I thought you were gonna bob me.
No. Oh,
but anyway, that's now nobody has to go to my channel. Now they've heard the story. But if you want to hear me tell that story in a cattle pasture, by all means, go to Steve Ross, ROSSE, and take a look at the video.
And click.
Yeah, click.
And subscribe.
And share. Yeah.
Right.
The algorithm loves sharing. All right, I've been weighing this around enough. D'Artagnan. My name is Inigo Montoya. You killed my father. Prepare to die. I'm terrible at accents, right?
Well, they all sound like...
They know it. They know the movie.
Either Keith Richards or the other guy.
Speedy Gonzalez.
These are not, I should have blind, but it doesn't really matter. We're not sort of, which is the best. I'm just thinking, do you like any of them? Yeah, they're all sort of similar.
Mm-hmm. And you're going to eat them too, right?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, all right.
Because I have this one just about daily. Just have I think Steve, I think you're going to let
Really? Let me see how you put it on. You apply yours.
Well,
right?
no, I'm just saying you usually just put a...
Oh, my God.
It's like, what's the La Cage aux Folles?
Yeah.
When he's talking about...
the movie.
You just smear, just a smear.
A schmear.
Oh, no,
Are we ready?
Oh, no, hang on.
We're going to go together. Okay.
I just need to say to you that these are very strong flavors. Mm-hmm. So if you go, you're going to leap out the door.
Well, it's all going to end up caught in my tooth anyway.
So just have a little bit.
All right.
So this is Promite. What does it smell like to you?
I've been smoking for 50 years. I don't have a sense of smell.
Okay. Just have a little taste.
That's a very strong cracker. I'm tasting cracker. That's salty. That's not bad at all. It's very sharp, very salty. That's not bad.
All right. That's the Promite.
Big thumbs up for Promite.
Okay.
I like that a lot.
With toast and butter in the morning, a smear.
All right.
Good wake up for the aftertaste. This is Vegemite.
All right, let me clear my palate.
Like a wine testing. I got some stories about wine testing. So this is Vegemite. This is the one that Australians usually have. Now, for me, this is a little bit tart, a little bit, it's a bit stronger in taste, I think. So again, just have a smear. Only use half your, I'm running out of...
crackers?
Crackers.
All right.
So this is Vegemite. This is the one that most Australians rave about.
All right. Also very salty.
Much more salty, isn't it?
It's got a much more powerful flavor than the Promite.
Hasn't it?
Yeah.
I haven't had Vegemite for, I don't know, 10 years. It's very strong.
It's all right. I don't mind that at all.
Okay. So, and the last one we're going to try,
Made me a Vegemite sandwich.
I don't know if it's Bovril or if it's Marmite that the UK sort of take credit for. I didn't do my research about the mites before we started, but I'm sure you'll know all about it, and you'll tell us if we're wrong. This one is very proudly described as the jar is 100% recycled plastic.
Excellent. That's my fave.
Oh God, it's sort of been. I don't know anything about. I'd never had Marmite in my life. Hang on, I'm just going to get this. So we're taste testing the mites. Gee, you're keen.
I'm hungry.
So Marmite, they sort of put this in stews and like in gravies and stuff as well to give it a bit of the flavour at kickstart. Marmite.
Oh. That I'm not so keen on.
That's a bit sweeter than the Vegemite. Very salty again. They're all very similar, aren't they?
Yeah. Whew. So far, I think the Vegemite's my fave.
Okay.
This would be third. I like the Promite as well and the Vegemite. Those could go back and forth first and second. This, I'm not a fan. I'm sorry, Marmite. We could have got sponsorship if I'd have kept my big mouth shut.
They're sort of similar in that they're all got that strong, yeasty, salty. Anyway, there you go. That's what people can have on toast. I don't know. I sort of have in the back of my distant memory that there's some link between Vegemite and, is that a bug or something? Vegemite and Anzac Day, but I can't remember what the story is. Maybe the Australian soldiers survived on the back of a Vegemite or something like that. Or they used it to grease their guns. I'm not sure. One or the other.
Didn't do them a lot of good.
So, no. So there you go. Tell us what your favourite is. There might be a few other of these vegetable or yeast extract. Oh, God. How are you going to get that? This is going to be in your tooth.
Yeah, we knew that from the get-go.
So anyway,
and the
there
carpet,
you go.
apparently.
Alive, yes. Cleaner.
I'm sorry, if you were expecting at home Steve to freak out and retch and gag, no. This is the Promite. I don't mind that at all. I could eat that. I could eat that for breakfast. I could keep a jar of that in the house. I could have that with toast and butter.
But you know,
that's okay. Thank you, Australia and New Zealand. Thank you for introducing me to this.
My favourite is I'd have 2 bits of toast, and I'd have a bit of Promite on one, so you get the salt, and then I'd put some like blackberry jam on the other one. Sweet. And so then I'd do my daily program.
So if you're thinking what to bring us next time, Jack and Diane?
Promite.
No, blackberry jam.
And that was the blackberry jam from Deborah and Sam.
Deb and Sam.
Which I'm still getting through. Thank you very much. So we got the Tim Tams a bit later. Whew.
Well, we need coffee with those.
Oh, ideally, but I can't help you with it. I suppose I could, but I'd have to leave you alone on the computer, and I can't possibly do that. So, okay, that's Anzac Day. So, lest we forget, cheers to the diggers.
Cheers to the diggers. And thank you for being on our side. Though at that time, 1916?
1916.
Okay, my family had come to America by that time. So thank you for being on our side, Australia, and good on ya. Oh, my absolute favorite vlogger right now is an Australian guy named Bo Miles. Check this guy out. This guy makes amazing videos. I love him to death. He's Australian and lives outside of Sydney, I think, and just amazing videos. Bo Miles, B-E-A-U, Miles, M-I-L-E-S, Bo Miles. He's Australian and he's fantastic.
And he talks about?
He sets himself these tasks. Like he's a marathon runner, but he got bored simply running 26 kilometers. So he said, all right, I'm gonna have my wife drive down the road with a truck and a trailer, and I'm gonna run 26 miles. I'm gonna pick up every single piece of trash that's along the road for 26 miles. And he does this. What else does he do? Oh, he refurbished a canoe. He ran a mile every hour on the hour, and in between running, He refurbished a canoe. He's a woodworker and an outdoorsman. He used to be a guide in the outback. He used to guide canoe tours in the outback. And
novel.
He spent 24 hours awake in his garage, running around his property a mile, coming back to the garage and working for 45 minutes on a canoe, running for a mile, coming back and working on a canoe. Or a kilometer, is it 26 kilometers, right? So he did this in 24 hours with 3 kilometers on the last hour. And the guy's amazing. He's a Superman. And
How
he runs
old?
along. Oh, he's probably 40, I would guess.
So you're going to start doing marathon running and then sticking
But
things on your turtle?
He'll eat shit he finds by the side of the road. He doesn't take food with him. He'll run. He said, I'm going to run into Melbourne today barefoot, and I'm not going to take food or water. I'm going to find what I can eat and drink along the way. Well, it's an urban highway, right? There's no like streams or birds chirping. He's picking up garbage, and if there's an inch in the bottom of the bottle, he'll drink it. Oh, dude's tough, man. The dude is hard. He's hard as nails. And it's just check him out, Beau Miles, Beaumiles.
Obviously, quite an
You're gonna duck
engaging
me.
character as well.
I love the guy. I've seen about 7 or 8 of his videos. Love the guy. And I, in that vein, I had completely forgotten to write this down. I'm going to make an announcement. Beau sets himself these challenges and he calls them adventures. And sometimes he doesn't meet the challenge, sometimes he fails, but often he fails in a wonderfully heroic way.
Go on.
Well, no, because it's a big deal what I'm going to say, and you're doing this futzy stuff right now.
I'm fondling you.
Yeah, I know. I am going to set myself a challenge. I'm going to take a vow of silence for 3 days. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday of this week. I am not going to speak for 3 days. Yeah.
Because?
Just because I've never done it in my life, and because my cousin David died recently, I want to do something to honor his memory, and because maybe it'll help my eustachian tube, because the eustachian tube seems to blow out when I'm speaking. So I'm going to see what happens if I go 3 days without speaking, and I can do this very easily. I'm retired. I live alone. I have warned Cham Nan that I'm not going to speak for 3 days, and I'll just stay in my house. I'll stock up on Sunday, which is today as you're watching this.
So if you want to drop in Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, drop in and see Steve with a lot of questions.
No, just come and tell me your stories. I'll sit there and listen. You'll have a captive audience. I won't be able to interrupt you.
I'll give you a list of insults that will trigger him to talk.
Honestly, I hope nobody does that, because I would like to go 3 days without speaking.
This is interesting. You can make a video about not speaking.
Well, no, I will tell a story the following Friday about these 3 days. What is it like? There has never been 3 days in my life that I haven't spoken. There hasn't been 30 minutes in my life that I haven't spoken out loud.
Could we do it on including a Sunday in the future?
So that I sit here quietly and have to listen to you talk?
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
No, we cannot do that. Oh. Well, let's see how it goes.
Okay.
Let's see how it goes.
Why did you choose not speaking?
For the 3 reasons I already said, but I have another one in mind. I want to go to the beach where every day I go and I pick up, little dribs and drabs of plastic that I want to use in my arts and crafts. I want to go with about a dozen rice bags and Cham Nan's 3-wheeler, and when the big winds start in about a month and we get ankle-deep trash on this beach, I want to see how much of the beach I can clean, how many meters of the beach I can clean alone with a bunch of rice sacks, and just see how much of a dent one guy, and then we will take them to the dump. I happen to go to the dump this week, the public dump here in town. And now that I know where it is, I want to take something there. So that was the other challenge. And I was thinking, which do I want to do first? Which do I want to do first? Well, obviously the easier one will be not speaking. So physically easier. So mentally, it's going to be terrible for Steve Ross not to open his mouth and speak. That's.
But if you closed your door and nobody comes in, you don't have anybody to talk to.
Well, I speak out loud to myself all the time.
Oh dear.
Yeah, I talk to the turtle. I talk to the styrofoam turtle that I'm making. I talk back to the radio. I yell at people on YouTube and on Facebook. No, I talk all the time.
How will we know that you didn't speak for 3 days?
You'll have to trust me.
Well, I'm not sure if that's good enough.
Well, you can come check on me, but you won't know what's happening when you're not there.
What about an exclamation of pain? Are you allowed to do that?
I don't know when it happens because I do hurt myself often. I drop hammers
I was going to
on my
bring
toes.
some scissors and just jab them in your side and to see how you...
I have half a toenail on this big toe.
What have you done?
I dropped a hammer on it.
Okay.
Yeah. Who needs to use a hammer making a styrofoam turtle, right?
Yes.
But I had a hammer in my hand and I dropped it. I was picking up tools. I was cleaning up the shop. Cham Nan won't. He won't move anything that I've put down. He's afraid.
Now, speaking of Cham Nan,
Excuse me.
Cham Nan is Steve's sort of man Friday.
Major domo.
Lovely guy. And from time to time, I steal Cham Nan to do little sort of
Oh, that's right. He hung
jobs.
a shelf or something.
So he came
Yeah.
yesterday because I had a problem. I bought it was a cheap table, like a desk.
Mm-hmm.
And it's sitting there after a couple of months, it's just got this bow in it. Like, not a little bow, a big bow. And the legs have just splayed out. I mean, the sort of the moisture's got into the what is it, the plywood and just... So I thought I'll put just a block on the wall, into the wall with a screwdriver, and then down with the table onto the block, which would hold the middle of the table. Simple enough. Well, of course, Cham Nan doesn't speak any English. I don't speak any Thai. A block of wood. I don't know how block of wood translates into Thai, but that didn't help. So poor old Cham Nan was getting as frustrated as I was. I was saying, the fucking block of wood on the fucking... I think he understood fucking. And anyway, in the end, I got the saw out and we found a bit of wood. And and it's all done. But
okay, I'm glad.
But a 5-minute job took about 2 hours and a lot of battery life in my phone.
Welcome to my world.
But thank you, Cham Nan. You did a great job. Eventually.
He's really good at the things he's good at. But this is something that I have noticed in Southeast Asia. And my experience of Southeast Asia is this beach and Phuket, and that's about it. They don't want to tell you, no, I can't do that. So they'll give it a shot. They'll try. They'll come in and try to rewire your lighting or get the wasp's nest off the back porch or whatever it is. They'll give it the old college try.
Yeah.
And sometimes they'll be successful and everybody's happy. Other times they won't be successful and you'll have to call a real Chang to come in and fix it when it's done. It's always a crapshoot to find out whether or not he actually knows how to do this.
Oh, we sorted it out. So he did a good job. He's a lovely man. Thank you, Cham Nan. Just speaking about, I don't know, you said something about the waves or all you know is the beach and stuff. How's your tooth?
I'm just I can't see in this if I'm...
Can I just have a look?
Yeah, sure.
All right. So, yes, the veggie crackers sort of get in our teeth. The Andaman Sea has been very active. At night time, we get lulled to sleep because when the waves are so powerful at the moment, it sort of shakes everything and you feel the waves hitting it and there's the sound. And it's quite dramatic at the moment.
I love it.
This swell's coming in right off the Indian Ocean.
Yeah, we're not protected. We're not in a bay. People say, aren't you afraid the place will be overdeveloped? No, because you can't put a hotel here 6 months out of the year. Fatum, fatum, fatum. It's
Fatum.
Fatum. That's the sound of one of those big waves hitting the berm of sand.
Fatum. Could you spell that?
Fatoom. You don't have to capitalize the F. And those big waves will dig the berm out, so you have to drop 6 feet to get to the beach. And so no, I don't think we're ever going to be overdeveloped. But it is where beginning on the walk this morning, I walk the beach every morning, I noticed that the sea is much rougher than it was 2 or 3 days ago.
Sure. I mean, 2 or 3 days ago, I would have happily jumped in and had a swim. And I consider myself a fairly good swimmer, I wouldn't go out. These waves, if they catch you and dump you, they're dumping you not into the water, they're dumping you onto the beach. They break right on the beach and they break hard. And because the water's rushing back into the water and the wave just, I don't know if I described that well.
No, it was wonderful. I got a very clear visual.
Fatum.
Fatum. That's right.
So, okay, time to get out Norel's book and
all right.
Our long list of Steve got it wrong.
I don't think we have a Steve got it wrong.
We're coming to you today from Bonneville Beach House, which is one of 3 beach houses I have for short-term rental. There's links in the description. I've done my ad, and over to you.
They're very comfortable. These places are classy and nice, and the air conditioning is really
cold.
It's fighting valiantly against the heat.
Yes.
What time is it? It's like 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yes.
And it is hot as hell, and we are comfortable in here. I'm very comfortable here.
Yes.
So yeah, these are lovely places, and you should do a cutaway, turn the camera around. The view is to die for.
We're looking at the water. We're looking at the Andaman Sea.
At the Fatum.
It's 50 meters away. I'm just thinking, I'm going to look up Fatum in the. It's probably a Middle Eastern female body part.
Yeah, perhaps. Yeah, I'm not familiar with Middle Eastern females, but I assume the body parts are similar to the girls in Iowa.
Oh, but they've got a Fatum.
They've got a Fatum.
Yes.
No touching my Fatum until we're married.
Yes.
You spoke this morning on your live show about your live stream, or yesterday about your live stream, about it's a very common question, and every brand new YouTuber in Thailand loves to do an episode. This is my budget. This is how much money you need to live well in Thailand. And it's all crap. It's all crap. People were commenting as you were talking and saying, well, you need at least 100,000 baht. Oh no, you need at least 200,000 baht.
Oh no, you can do it on $400 a month.
Or yeah, coming in at, yeah. Now I think I've said before, I live on my Social Security, it's 1,500 US, 50,000 baht a month. I have been here 2 years. I think I live like a king. I'm happy every day. And I have $8,000 in the bank that I did not have 2 years ago. I have saved $8,000. Steve Ross has never saved $8,000 in his life. I am not joking. I have never saved up $8,000 in my life. I have $8,000 in a credit union in El Paso, Texas, because I don't spend 50,000 baht every month. There was a guy who said, well, you can live cheap, but you can't live on 40 baht Thai dishes every day. The hell you can't.
Of course you can.
Of course you can.
70 million people do.
Yes, they do. And even a big fat slob like me, I went 20 years dreaming of eating Thai food. Now I get a chance to eat Thai food. It's 40, 50, 60 baht a plate. You damn right I eat 40 baht a plate. It's not about how much money you have. It's about what makes you happy. How expensive is what makes you, or not even happy. Happy might be in this day and age too much to ask for. Content, satisfied. All right? What's it take to make you satisfied? For me, it takes less than 50,000 baht a month. Now, I live alone and I don't drink alcohol. So those are two. I'm not supporting anybody's family back on the rice farm, and I don't drink. So those are two huge expenses. There was a guy who said we've all known, what did he say? We've all known, how did he put it? My reaction was, no, what we've known is guys who've come, we've all known the retiree who came without enough money and he wasn't able to be happy here and he had to go home. No, what we've known is the guy who came with buku money and he pissed it all away. He couldn't live within his means, even here where everything's half the price it is back home. That's the problem. It's not how much money you have, it's how much money you spend.
And there are so many, I think in this morning's program, we sort of fleshed this issue out a bit more. My main premise was no matter how much you budget and how much you think it's going to cost, it's always going to cost a lot more. And there's always things coming out of left field that for some people it might be a medical procedure, other people it might be, oh, my motorbike crashed and I need to buy a new one. It could be a million things, but it's always going to cost you more. I had this huge problem at the DLT yesterday, the Department of Land Transport. They told me that I hadn't paid my registration last year. I ended up having to pay for 2 years, although I swore black and blue that anyway, long story.
Didn't have the receipt. So
my day in Phuket yesterday cost me 85,000 baht. One day. None of that money I was expecting to spend when I drove down to Phuket. So things can come out of left field, even for stupid people like me. So, and because there's so many parameters of things that that may cost you money, and every single person's going to have a different way of interpreting that particular parameter. So there's no one size fits all budget for everybody. Everybody's going to have such a unique, separate experience. The only way you will ever know how much you will need to spend in Thailand is to come to Thailand and spend money for 3 or 4 months. That's the only way you'll ever know.
You'll have fun doing it.
You can't budget.
May I point out, like he just said, everybody's different. I live on 50,000 baht a month and have money left over. He just spent 80,000 baht yesterday, and he's able to shrug it off.
On incidentals.
On incidentals.
Oh, I'm not shrugging it off. I was highly pissed off.
Well, but that's 2 months of everything I have. And yet we're able to sit here. We come from 2 vastly different worlds, the 2 of us, and yet we're able to sit here and get along and talk, and we share experiences, we share a language.
No, I'm just very patient.
He's very patient. He hasn't touched the duck once.
So no, this is money I really didn't have to give away, but it's just I got caught in these 4 places I went to, and I walked away, thought 85,000 baht. I was so pissed off. But by the time I got back, I came around the corner, just 100 meters down the road, and I went, I'm home.
Right?
Everything's okay.
Yes.
Everything's okay. Oh, look at those waves. That's what I was thinking.
There is a line. One of my favorite movies in the world is The Warriors. You ever see The Warriors?
The New Zealand movie?
No. The Warriors is an old cult, cheaply made, kind of, and we've talked about this before and I've been corrected. I thought it was the first American Kung Fu movie. It's not, but it's about a gang in New York City who comes from a place called...
Democrats?
No.
No.
Well, we don't know how they vote. Back then, this was made in the 80s, people weren't just constantly telling everybody how they vote like they do now. They came from Coney Island, which is like the southernmost part of Brooklyn, and they had to get from the Bronx, the northernmost part, the northernmost borough, all the way through Manhattan. They're being pursued by every gang in New York. They finally, at the end of the movie, they're on the beach.
Sounds good.
At dawn. It's a wonderful movie. It's cheap and cheesy and badly acted and badly written. It's wonderful. Nobody famous.
Okay.
Nobody famous, but there are conventions, there are Warriors conventions where people dress up like the various gangs. Each gang has its own costume that reflects the part of New York where they are. So the gang from up around, the first gang they encounter on the subway is from around Yankee Stadium, and all the guys in this street gang are dressed as Yankee ball players, but they're on roller skates. And they're carrying baseball bats. And they're pursuing the heroes through the subway tunnels with
on roller skates.
On roller skates, dressed as baseball players. And it's just an amazing, silly, stupid movie. But at the end, there is a line that I think of way too frequently when I come home. The hero of our gang, the leader of our gang, says
played by Kurt Russell.
No, but it's sort of a Kurt Russell lookalike. Forget the guy's name. Michael Pera, I think? No, that's Michael Cera. It's Michael something. Anyway, he says to the enemy gang, he says, you know, when we see the ocean, we think we're home. And that, I think of that, that line, when I come back to this beach road from taking a trip, I wait until we come around that curve right there, and I think when I see the ocean, I'm home. I'm from Iowa. corn and pigs should make me think of home. No, the Andaman Sea
So
makes
the
me think of
quote,
home.
the quote is,
When we see the ocean, we feel like we're home. Because
I'm
he's
sort
saying,
of hoping for something a little bit more, I don't know, poetic, but
well, do you remember the line? Excuse me. The most famous line of the movie is
Have a
an
Tim
ad
Tam.
lib.
yeah.
An actor named Michael Patrick Kelly, some 3 Irish names, 3 saints. He, in the prop car, they have this great prop car their gang drives around in. And the prop guy brought it to the set one day, and it hadn't been cleaned since the last time it was in a movie. And it was full of beer bottles, empty beer bottles. So as they drove around, beneath their feet, clink, clink, clank, clink, clink, clank, clink, clink, clank, all these beer bottles. So his line in the script is, warriors come out and play. He sticks 3 beer bottles on 3 fingers, and he's going, grink, grink, drink with these bottles. Warriors come out and play. And that line has shown up in The Simpsons. It's shown up in Ren and Stimpy. It's been quoted in 100 other places. Drink, drink, warriors come out and play. It's the only thing from the movie that got into the general consciousness, but it went
What
huge.
movie was this? What year was this made?
The Warriors, 81.
It sounds great.
Oh, it's
It
fantastic.
sounds like a Mad Max, but in
Oh
New
yeah,
York.
it is, exactly. The
Okay.
same premise. It's a chase. It's simply a violent chase movie, and the gang members drop one by one. You know, this guy's got 4 lines, then he's gone from the movie. The guy who was supposed to be the hero of the movie, the actor, pissed off the director. So the director wrote a scene where this guy was pushed under a subway train.
And it was a real subway train.
Well, it was, but they did it. It was a stunt, but it was like, okay, you're done. That's it. You're out of the movie. We're giving all your hero lines to this guy over here now. Now you're the hero of the movie.
Na, 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 na,
Yeah, exactly. You know, you piss off the director, and he writes you out of the movie.
God.
Oh,
Oh,
it was
dear.
just, you know, by the seat of their pants.
They're a little bit.
They're mushy.
Try this one. A bit melty. You're going to have to lick your fingers.
Without ice cold milk or boiling hot coffee. What's the point?
Oh, so this is Tim Tams. Would you like a Tim Tam?
All right, here we go.
You see, I think that's pretty good.
That's all right. I could eat that.
Oh yeah.
Put a little Vegemite on that. I could eat that. Yeah.
I'm going to have to put these in the refrigerator.
Served with koala steaks. That's not a knife. That's a knife.
Mick Jagger.
Yeah.
Mm.
That's my Mick Jagger.
We can't talk because we're full of chocolate biscuit. Oh my God.
Slide that thing ahead 5 minutes. We'll be done eating and talking again. All right.
We're going to have to lick our fingers. I'm sorry.
No.
Or I'll lick yours and you lick mine.
No.
Oh, okay. That was a good offer. They're pretty chocolatey, aren't they?
They are very chocolatey. Very gooey.
So they come in mint, dark chocolate and mint, caramel, salted caramel, white chocolate.
You want to eat these right out of the freezer. You want to keep these in the freezer and eat them right, like Girl Scout cookies, like Thin Mints. Girl Scout cookies are best in the freezer. Believe me, I was cookie chairman for 3 years. My daughter was in Girl Scouts. I was a brownie troop leader. Sold Girl Scout cookies for 3 years, and they're best in the freezer. Best.
What are the? I won't ask. The cookies. They're just cookies. Just
What, Girl Scout cookies?
yeah.
Yeah, there's 8 or 9 different styles or types, and they have a new one every year. It's fundraising. A third of the price goes to the national organization, a third of the price goes to the local council, and a third to the local troop. So if it's $6 for a box, this little girl's troop gets $2 of that, and she's standing outside Walmart with a card table full of cookies in Iowa in January when it's 10 below, and she's getting $2 a box for those cookies.
Was your son in the Scouts?
My son is an Eagle Scout, yes.
Okay.
Of the 12 men who have walked on the moon, 5 were Eagle Scouts.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, it's a tremendous organization. For a divorced father of a son, Japanese anime, Call Out Pizza, and the Boy Scouts, those three things saved my life as a divorced dad.
So your interface with the Boy Scouts, I recently watched a Netflix documentary showing what a litany of mistakes that were made.
Yes.
Infiltration of some, well, basically pedophiles.
Yes.
And the way that the reckless way that the Scout organisation tried to explain it away.
Just like the Catholic Church and various other organizations. Sure. Volunteer-driven organizations are at the mercy of the volunteers, and you can get schmucks. I worked in a nursing home where we had volunteers come in to help take care of the old people, and they stole jewelry and they slapped the old people, the volunteers. You know, there are organizations that need volunteers to work, and you're not going to get a great volunteer every single time. You were talking about Mother Teresa not being a saint.
Controversial.
Yeah, controversial. But yeah, the Scouts for us in our troop in Iowa, and we were in it from Tiger Cubs to Eagle. That's like 6-7 years straight through. I went through with my son every patch, every feather, every bead, every camp out, and I hate camping out.
Did you do Scouts when you were younger?
Yes, I was a Boy Scout.
So it was something that you really wanted to do for your son?
Well, honestly, it started with my ex-wife, because Luxa, the Tiger Cubs here, everybody in school is required to be a Scout. It is not affiliated with the BSA, the Boy Scouts of America, but it's the same thing. They wear a uniform, they wear neckerchiefs, they earn badges, they earn patches, beads, and every Thai student is required to be in a troop. And they have big jamborees right down here at the Utayan, at our national park here on Turtle Beach.
And very nice place too.
700 Boy Scouts or Girl Scouts down there living in tents for 3 days. At any rate, my ex-wife was the one who recommended we put our son into it, and I went along with it. And then we got divorced after about a year or two, and turned out this was the quality time I was allowed by the courts to have with my son. And because the ex, it was her idea, she absolutely loved her time in Luxa. She was all in favor. The thing doesn't say it's Steve's weekend, but there's a jamboree. Yes, go with Dad, go to the jamboree. So I got to see my son a lot more than I would have otherwise. But for me, I wasn't afraid of any kind of dilly-dallying by adults in the tents, because that's a very, very rare thing. What is very present in Boy Scouts of America? I'll tell you what, if you've got time for a little quick story. You got time? You would put some Vegemite on a cracker and sit with me.
But don't do it after you've had a Tim Tam.
Yeah.
Imagine now with that taste in your mouth having the Promite.
Oh.
Exactly.
So
anyway, off you go.
So there are three big camping experiences for Boy Scouts in America: canoeing in Minnesota, sailing off of Florida, and going to Philmont, New Mexico, which was at one time the largest privately owned piece of land in the United States, owned by Mr. Phillips, who started the Phillips Petroleum Company, vastly wealthy Iowa native, thank you very much. He gave this big piece of undeveloped, absolutely pristine land to the Boy Scouts of America in the 1940s on the condition that it never be developed. You can't even dig a latrine. It's absolutely the way it was when only the Native Americans lived there. And we went camping there for 2 weeks. An amazing experience to be alone, well, with your son and 13 of his best friends, outside of the reach of any cell tower. No phone for 2 weeks. Your son has to talk to you. He has to interact with you. And oh my God, that was a wonderful time.
But all the fathers, or just you and?
No, 3 dads went, 13 boys, 3 dads. I was by 10 years the oldest father on the trip. I was still smoking a pack a day the day before we left. You cannot smoke cigarettes at Philmont. I was going cold turkey in this thing. I was carrying 60 pounds
God,
on my
what a
back.
sacrifice.
We went from 7,000 feet to 14,000 feet and back down, carrying 60 pounds on my back, shitting in the woods with the bears. We saw bears. We saw bears. But what really, really made me uncomfortable, and it was the one thing about Boy Scouting that I did not, that made me uncomfortable. When Mr. Phillips gave this thing to the Boy Scouts of America, the ceremony was scheduled to be on December 14th, 1941, 1 week after Pearl Harbor. It had been in the works for years. They had picked the date and settled on the date for years, and they had thousands of scouts coming for the ceremony, the handing over of the keys to the wilderness. And it happened a week after America, was drawn into World War II. He gave a speech, which is commemorated on a huge stone in front of the main office building where every scout has to go to register. And in this speech, he says, a week after Pearl Harbor, this place is necessary because we have to train a generation of American men to lead the world. Because when this war is over, America will be the leader of the world, and we will never let that go. So we need to start training young American men to rule the world. This is carved in a stone at the front of this campground. That kind of militarist, that kind of nationalist, jingoish kind of a thing really made me uncomfortable. The wearing of uniforms, the saluting, all of that made me uncomfortable. And but it was worth it because the returns were so tremendous for me and my son. All right, that's enough. This is supposed to be about Thailand, isn't it? Aren't we supposed to talk about Thailand?
They have scouts in Thailand.
They do, Lusa, they do.
So there you go.
Thank you for
I was
listening.
in the Cubs, but I never made it to the Scouts.
You're not going to the moon.
And my mother asked me, why did you stop doing the Cubs? I said, well, I just can't wear khaki. Really, just didn't suit my flesh tones. What else have you got?
Makes you look yellow.
We've got time for one more.
Just one?
Well, we'll see how we go.
No.
Do you want another Tim Tam?
No, I'd like another bottle of water. I will get through these fairly quickly. The phrase, we talk about red flags, all right? For me, the phrase, well, my Thai wife says.
Oh, yes. Oh,
Listen,
I've heard that so many times.
I paid my Thai wife's bills for 23 years. She never spoke the truth to me once. Guys, your Thai wife is not the Library of Congress. Don't think that you're going to win an argument by saying, my Thai wife says, hua hin. You always pronounce the hua. It means head, Steve. My Thai wife. No, down here it's wahin because we're in the South.
We get so many. Anytime I bring up the thing of pronunciations, people go mental over the intricacies of pronunciations on a language they are not native anyway.
Yeah.
You haven't eaten some of your Tim Tam.
No, I have not. But my Thai wife doesn't settle any arguments, you guys. You need to cite another source. Aspirin. Can you find aspirin in Thailand?
Well, somebody did. Steve's got aspirin.
Jack and Diane found it in Cham Nan in Krabi.
One of the main ingredients in Tim Tam is aspirin.
Yeah, I wish. But what we discovered last week, I said, why is it illegal in Thailand? Why can I not find it? 50% of respondents said, well, it's illegal here because if you take it with dengue fever, you can bleed to death, or because Thais lack an enzyme and whatever. The other 50% said, well, it's right here at the super cheap in my neighborhood. How much do you want? So 50% of respondents said it's illegal for this reason. The other 50% said it's sold right around the corner.
What did my Thai wife say?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't listen to your Thai wife.
So don't go on about aspirin. Steve, thanks to Jack and Diane, has a lifetime supply, several lifetime supplies of aspirin.
Yeah.
So that underline, finished.
Yeah.
Done.
If you want to quote a Thai female on language, I listen to the FM radio all day long while I work. I love it. I don't understand one word in 5, but it's a language lesson. It's a free language lesson. And remember that when you learn to speak English, the first 2 years you didn't speak at all. You just listened, right? That's how you learn a language. The first 2 years you just listen. So I'm listening right now. So I listen to the radio. We're on the beach. They provide the tide tables for all the coasts of Thailand. The radio license here is held by the Navy up at, what is it? Tung Maprao? No. Anyway, right up there. Taplamu. The license is held by the Navy. It's actually broadcast from the Navy station. And they do the tide tables. And when the lady says when the Nam Kun will happen in Wakin, she says Wakin. She doesn't say Wakin. So there you go. If you're going to listen to a Thai lady, listen to the lady in the Navy, the lady in the uniform. Phuket province. Why don't we ever say Kok Phuket?
I thought we resolved that.
Well, I think we did. I'll just put the last nail in the coffin. If you're talking about the province, it's Phuket. If you're hiring a boat to go to the island, you say Kok Phuket. If you're talking about
That's
the
sort of
island
what I said
as
last
an island,
week.
that is what you said.
Yes.
7-Eleven is Sawen everywhere in Thailand. We had correspondents write in from every backwater, every corner of the country. It is Sawen, simply Sawen.
Because it doesn't close at 11 anymore. It just opens up and stays open all the time.
The sign says 7-Eleven. I think it's simply, they like they're shortening hua to hua. And they jippa lele, half the words in the name of that store cut in half because we're in the south.
Sawen.
So it's just Sawen.
There's only 14,000 of them in Thailand and nobody's quite sure how to pronounce it. But there you go.
I say Sawen.
I call it a 7-Eleven.
I
seem to know what I'm talking about.
You're not enculturated yet. You're not assimilated yet.
No.
You will be assimilated. Resistance is futile. Here's a question for the Brain Trust. 35 years ago...
My Thai wife.
No. The Brain Trust, our viewers, our lauded viewers.
Our viewer.
35 years ago, a Thai guy, when he bought a pack of cigarettes, would bite the corner off the pack of cigarettes, just the corner, and peel back just enough plastic and foil to get one cigarette out. And then he would carefully fold that plastic and foil back over the hole to keep his cigarettes dry, because it's raining half the year, or he's a fisherman, or he's sweaty. I have not seen that. I have come back after a 25-year absence. I don't see Thai guys biting the corners off their cigarette packs anymore. Any smokers out there, let me know. Do you still see that? Do Thai guys still do that?
I've never seen that.
Yeah. That used to be just as common as dirt. They would bite the corner off the pack and shake out, and it would take forever. Once you get that first one out, then it's like whack-a-mole, trying to get the next one out.
It's like the toothpicks.
They would do this for hours trying to get their second cigarette. I have one last thing.
So I'll have to put another canister of film in the camera.
I can't read it, so I think we've dodged a bullet.
So, something underpants. Sarang, Wikipedia. Farang, Wikipedia.
Yeah, that's different.
So, Sikhs, seems?
Oh, do Sikhs wear helmets?
Sikhs.
In Thailand, are Sikhs required to wear helmets?
Sikhs.
I know that in America, all Sikh men are required to carry a ceremonial dagger with them at all times. They have a knife on them at all times. Usually it's not sharpened so they don't hurt themselves. But Sikhs are required to carry a blade. They are also required to cover their hair, right? Never cut their hair. Lion of Judea, never cut their hair, and cover it with a big turban. And the older the man gets, the bigger that turban's going to get. Are they required to wear motorcycle helmets in Thailand? We all are, right? Or is all that hair in that turban considered by the cops to be helmet enough? I have no idea. I'm throwing that out there to the Brain Trust. If anybody, we have I think 130,000 subscribers. Yeah, 130,000. Don't just trust me. We have 130,000. Someone out there must be a Sikh or know a Sikh.
I suppose if the result comes back saying that Sikhs don't have to wear a helmet by law, there's going to be a lot of people saying, Oh, I'm a Sikh.
Yeah, I'm going to tie a bath towel to my head and tell the cop I'm a Sikh. That's it. That's all I had.
It's
Thank you for
interesting.
your patience.
Yeah, that would be. I know that Muslim people, they're required to wear a helmet, and the ladies in their I can't remember the name of it, but they do have to wear a helmet.
Oh yeah.
But Sikhs, because that's. The helmet would not fit on your head.
It's
as
much
simple as that.
bigger than the skull caps that Muslim men wear.
Yeah.
Or is it howdah? Is that what it's called? The howdah is the head part of the rig.
Yeah, I forget.
Anyway, I forget.
Because we're so culturally insensitive.
Or a howdah is the thing you ride on an elephant in. I think a howdah is a basket on the back of an elephant.
You don't want to get the two mixed up.
Steve got it wrong. Swing
so
and a miss.
With that, Steve does have his own YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Because he's got a lot more time than me.
I do.
And he does wax lyrical at least once a week. And then, because he doesn't have enough time in his own channel, he comes and tells the rest to us.
Oh, this is my claim to fame.
A lot.
This is my claim to fame. Yeah, I would not miss this. It's all I have in an otherwise empty, vapid life.
I got an email from him.
Did you?
I did. Yes.
Did he call you the C word?
No.
No. So he doesn't like you as much as he likes me.
No, so there you go. We won't get into that. But thank you very much for popping in. Thank you very much for
thank you for all of this unhealthy food.
Being a good sport. Yeah, I don't think Promite, Vegemite, or Marmite are necessarily health foods.
No.
But I think a little bit.
Yeah, the Marmite,
the taste,
the
Promite,
Vegemite and Promite.
Yes.
I very much thought those were okay.
There you go. So at some
carry on, Australia.
Other
the ice cream truck.
No, that's the washing machine. They got the same tune. So yeah, the washing machine says time is finished. And with that, please subscribe to my channel. God knows, so few do. And subscribe to Steve's as well because, well, just because you feel sorry for him.
And check out Bo Miles.
Bo Miles.
Check out Bo Miles. The guy's a trip.
B-E-A-U.
Guy's a trip. I want to meet this guy.
Okay. We'll see you next week.
Bye-bye. Thank you.